Good afternoon, everybody. This is going to be a little bit different kind of video, so it's not so much an arting, crafting video, but if you've been watching my disaster studio kind of updates, this is kind of to do with that. There is a challenge program out right now called One Book July. And I was looking at it and watching some of the videos, and there are 3 people that work together, and I'm not sure of all of them, but Romney's Realm is who I watch a lot. And I think it's Miss Vicky B, but I will put links to all of that down in the description box. If you can't tell, this video is a little harder to make because it's not my norm. So I do apologize for stumbling, and like I said, if you're not interested, please just go and watch another video. This particular July, they decided to focus on the bullet journal method. And after watching a whole lot of the videos and going to Ryder Carroll's website and blog and his YouTube channel, which there will be all kinds of links down there. I've been doing this for a long time. First off, I have so much going on with Mom and everything else, and my work and everything, that I have kind of gotten a system down. And it's bullet journaling in one form. One of the things that Ryder talks about over and over again, and other people have talked about, is the fact that this planning, journaling, whatever method you want to call it, is customizable to you. And I thought I would kind of show you where I started and where it's gone to, and where I've even stepped it up to try to fulfill more of the ideas behind this. Whether they'll work for me or not, I don't know. Some of the things that is very talked about over and over again in the bullet journal method is something that is not going to work for me. So you kind of can customize this to yourself. So let me set these aside, because otherwise I got way too much stuff in the way. This book is like old. I probably made this six years or more ago. Maybe more than that. Actually, I must have had it in South Dakota for almost 5 years, and we've been gone from there for 3. So it's old. One of the things about it is that it kept everything in one place, or I thought it was going to. It also could rotate out. Calendars have always been an issue for me, because used to be when I had to plan for bead shows, I was planning those shows a year and a half out. So I was doing, I needed more than my year right now. I needed to be able to add in the months that for the first part of the next year, that kind of thing. So by doing it this way, each of these little folders, as you can see, folders, booklets, signatures, could be swapped. I could, when this particular July, August, September could be finished, the next July, August, September could already be in my book. I will tell you that one of the reasons I have changed from this is because this is just too big to tote around, and I now have to actually physically take my planner notebook thing with me all the time, every day. But I had my calendars, my full page calendar in the front, and then I would have weeklies, like so. And honestly, I made this long before I knew about Traveler's Notebooks and elastics, and so they were turned into signatures and just tied in, and it had always worked, but I didn't have to carry it around. There's this thing in the bullet journal method about collections, and that's like things that you kept in kind of in lists, but it's things that belong together. And I would write my collections on the pages that are inside. Oops, that doesn't have one. Let me find it. I know I had one here. I should have flagged it. There we go. On the covers of my weeklies, there were little flaps inside the weekly that I could also write down things. And I wrote all kinds of everything down in these books. I honestly did not use this one as much because things were changing and it just wasn't working. I kept writing things down on little pieces of paper and it wasn't getting moved into here. Also, when I designed this book, I was art journaling back then, and I made a signature that fit, that was supposed to be for art journaling. It was a junk journal kind of thing put together to collage and do art on. Well, it didn't work. I don't like my art journal. I don't like things in this planner thing. Collection Ideas, Society of Idea Collectors, D.D. Willingham. I'll put a link to that too. That's, in many respects, that's what she does, is that she thinks about things and puts them down, writes them down. Information, a place to write information down. And arting in this was just too messy and it just didn't work for me. So, long story short, sorry, this is kind of involved. But this just, it worked really well for me, except for the art journal being in there, until I had to start toting things around every single day. And then I moved to this. There is a link to the making of this cover. It is a Traveler's Notebook cover. It has elastic to hold it together. It has elastic that holds the calendars. Oops, that should not be where you can see it. Holds the calendars in there. I use paper clips because that keeps my month where I can find it. And these particular calendars are from a website called My Life All in One Place. I use a full monthly calendar and I use a weekly spread that has a whole week. It has a little bit of spot up there, and I actually write in these spaces down here sometimes. It's called My Life All in One Place, and every year he puts out new calendars to fit the Traveler's Notebook. This is just a Traveler's Notebook standard size. But it allows me to put all my junk in there that I have to tote around, that I have to keep. And as I was looking at the One Book July thing and the bullet journal method, I realized this is what I'm doing. I already have been doing this. So I wanted to explore this a little further. One of the things is the index, and indexes don't work for me. He talks very much about an index. My index is these little tabs. That's how I find things. That's how I keep things together in places that I need to find it. If I'm going to try to find something, I want it underneath a tab where I can grab it. the monthly calendar, he puts it down in a list form. It doesn't work for me. Having it, I need to visually see all the days at one time and not have just lines of writing. I need to visually see where they fall. And the little tiny dots, and he uses, like a dot is a task and a circle is something else. Well, that's not going to work for me either. I've got to see it. I've got to see it fast. You know, sometimes I'm standing in the doctor's office with Mom. I have to try to juggle all of these appointments. I need to see them. So if I see pink or purple or green, I know what that's about. And I can say, okay, well, I can double up something orange on a purple. If I'm trying to schedule an appointment for Mom and I'm working a bead show on the internet, I can double those things up. I can do that on that day. But if I already have something orange, I have to be careful, or something pink, I have to be careful, because those are things I cannot overlap. The other thing he talks about is monthly goals. Well, I haven't been doing that, so I have chosen to try to do monthly goals. Needless to say, I write everything down every day. I write in here constantly. I put down what I hope to get done. I put down what doesn't get done, and I migrate things to the next week. I don't migrate things every day. Migrating is just basically copying it down to the next step. I did realize this month that I have two folders, two YouTube basic folders, and it's just kind of messy and all that, so I have redone that a little bit. And I had two kind of folders that were kind of overlapping, so I've kind of redone that a little bit. I also wanted to work more trying to go with a habit tracker. As you know, my studio is a disaster. One of the problems is not cleaning it. Well, hopefully I'm going to be cleaning it like for 30 minutes every day, and so far I would say 5 out of 7 days I'm getting that done. I need to make sure I check in with my mom pretty much every day, or every other day at least, and I'll realize suddenly that I have forgotten to call her. So I actually have to write it down on my calendar to call my mom, because my day gets away from me. One of the things about this method and in reading this book, and I've been reading it from cover to cover, making notes, he talks about the fact that when you write something, physically write it down, it's a neuropath thing. Well, that is true for many people. When I used to work in the school system, I learned that there are lots of different ways people learn. Some people learn visually, some people learn by writing it down, some people learn by hearing things. We all learn a little differently, but anytime we take the time to physically write something down, we've sat down and thought about that task or that goal or that thing that we want in our lives, or that thing that we want to remember. We've taken that few seconds to remember it. That's something that I need to do. I need to take those few seconds to remember it. So I was just going to show you my new notebook and show you where it's headed to. The nice thing about this is that these can be moved to another notebook. when another thing is this is one of my designs. I will put a link to the cover if I didn't say that already. I've been carrying this thing over a year and a half now, and yeah, it's starting to wear out right here. Okay, but I take this everywhere. I mean everywhere. So we'll see if the next one, and the next one's white. I just happen to love it. You guys know, if you've watched me before, that I love security envelopes and what they can do. So we'll see if this one lasts as long. What I was going to say though is that I can add new calendars in here just like I could in my old one. And that's really, that's a traveler's notebook kind of option. Now I was going to show you, when you don't have enough little rubber bands in there, you take a separate elastic here and you put two books together like so. And then you can put this book that you've now made as a pair. Oops, I've caught my, there we go. Right on one elastic, and it'll hold two in place. Okay, so now I have my monthly calendars, and I'm going to put my monthly goals right here. I want to try to put my weekly goals in here, but I've also decided that I need to do that habit tracking kind of thing, so I have created a habit tracker, and I've created I've been working with the habit tracker just on a loose piece of paper for this month to try to get the hang of it. There again, it's an accountability thing and a routine kind of thing. I have realized that one of my issues is the fact that I have lost my routine. When we lived in South Dakota, I could do all the stuff I did, and because I wasn't trying to do something different every single day. It was easier for me, and I need to try to find that. And I got my two books down into one, and all my YouTube stuff into one book. So that is so I'm back to having just one fewer book, and there we go. Now again, my pens will fit in here, and I carry 3 pens. I don't carry the color-coded, the highlighters, because I have found that I don't need them when I'm standing outside. I can do those as I go. If I've got something really, really important, I can circle in red, and something I'm not sure about, I just put in pencil. I keep important papers and my stamps in here because that's just an easier way for me to find them. And this one's brand new, so it's still got the attitude of being first made. So so here we go. That's my new One Book July project. I would really encourage y'all to try to take a look at this information that's out there right now about this. If you are trying to get yourself where all the little, and Romney, and at Romney's Realms, she says it's about the squirrels, and that's true. My father-in-law used to have a puppy that every time you'd say squirrel, he'd just take off running for the window. And that's what happens to me. It's like rabbit trails or squirrels or something, but I just keep getting distracted. And the distractions are creating a mindset that's not working. So this for me is about trying to be less distracted, be more mindful of what's going on in my life, and paying more attention to the people around me and the things that I want to do. Things for myself, things for my family, things for my friends. So, guys, I know, like I said, this was not a video that was really in my genre, but I thought that y'all might want to know about it. It's kind of like a little vlog, I guess. So, I'm going to read you a quote from my 1001 Ways to Creativity, though, because that's how I end videos. Diligent research provides the fuel for creative work, but it is always the heart that ignites the fuel. Okay, guys, go have fun, make some art. Bye-bye.